local, late-breaking. This is WDSU News at 6.
Right now at 6, lightning and heavy rain overnight and this morning in Louisiana. Some places on the North Shore were surrounded by water, leaving several people stranded. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Scott Walker.
And I'm Sala Kim. We have live team coverage on the severe weather that hit the state. Heath Allen is in Robert, where there has been heavy flooding. But first, we begin with WDSU meteorologist Jay Gallet. And Jay, how much rainfall did we get?
We had anywhere from a ½ inch all the way up to over 2.5, near 3 inches across the area. Take a look at the satellite and radar loop going back from this morning. Take a look about 1 a.m. through about 1 p.m. You could see that rain as it moved across the area, and it was heavy, heavy, heavy. Now, we did get reports of tornadoes confirmed by the Weather Service on the North Shore, but take a look at these rain rates: 6.5, 5.6, 4 inches. Again, this is going to be right around the river parishes near Lake Maurepas into Tangipahoa Parish. South of Lake Pontchartrain, a ½ inch up to 1.5 inches. And you can see almost 4 right around St. Tammany Parish and near Biloxi. The rivers, they're a little swollen right now. It usually happens under these kind of conditions. So if you live around any of the rivers, you know where you are. Just be mindful of that. Let those rivers kind of drain, and that will kind of ease the minor flooding that's going on. Sunshine and 80 degrees right now with winds out of the west at about 9 miles per hour. I think by tomorrow morning we drop to right around the upper 50s, low 60s region wide. So when I come back, we'll talk a little bit more about those tornadoes on the North Shore. And unfortunately, we could have another chance for some severe weather. I'll tell you when.
All right, Jay, thanks. It was a mess in a Tangipahoa Parish subdivision south of Robert. The intense storm system dropped plenty of water in an area that endured flooding twice last year. WDSU reporter Heath Allen live in Robert now, where things are finally beginning to dry out. Heath?
Yeah, finally beginning to. We're in the Haven. It's a relatively new subdivision here, just south of I-12, just off Highway 445 at Robert. Take a look. Streets are pretty clear right now. Looks pretty normal out here, but not the way it was early this morning. 4 or 5 inches of rain over just a few hours overnight, and the Haven went underwater. Streets in the subdivision filled quickly, and a lot of the residents here simply couldn't get out. And to make matters worse, it's garbage day here, and the flooded street quickly became filled with garbage. The neighborhood drains into Sims Creek. It runs right through the subdivision. It's a major drainage artery, but residents say the drainage issues here are fairly commonplace. We actually found Peter Clavier moving around the subdivision this morning in his canoe.
It floods all the time. Anytime there's a rainstorm, this is what it's going to look like. Unfortunately, it happened on a Monday on trash pickup, so, you know. Now there's a mess that comes with it.
This event is really a function of the volume of rain that we got and the volume that Sims Creek can hold.
Just too much rain in a short period of time.
Too much rain in a short period of time in a major drainage way.
Kylie Bates, the drainage administrator for the Consolidated Gravity Drainage District number 1 here in Tangipahoa Parish, says as soon as everything kind of dries out and the water in Sims Creek, which runs right back here, as soon as that goes down, they're going to actually walk that creek and see if there's any obstruction there that might be causing the drainage to foul up like it kind of did this morning. Guys, back to you.
All right, Heath, thank you. Also, take a look at this storm damage out in Baton Rouge. A tree fell on a home last night and also over a car in the parking lot, and there were many lightning strikes. Officials believe lightning may have caused a house fire in Baton Rouge. There's no word right now of any injuries in this fire. An Alexandria family says they are lucky to be alive after a severe storm knocked a tree into their home.
They say everyone took cover in a closet just before the tree came crashing into the home, falling on the chairs where they had been watching weather reports just before. The home is one of many in the Cherokee Village affected by the storm.
Just when my daddy got in there, because he's 91 and barely walk, it threw him into the closet. And he's got a cut on his arm, but he's okay. They're alive, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
The survivors say while the home is likely a total loss, they count themselves blessed. Remember, you can get alerts about severe weather watches and warnings. Just download the WDSU weather app. It is free and it's got live radar that you can check out and keep track of those storms.
All right, and in New Orleans, police say an Uber driver had 2 unwanted passengers this morning who tried to carjack him at gunpoint. Turns out that Uber driver had a gun as well, and investigators say he shot one of the attackers. WDSU's Casey Ferran is live in Mid-City with more on the attempted carjacking. Casey.
Yes, Ella, that incident was reported in this area of Mid-City near Bienville and North Telemachus Streets around 1:30 this morning. And at this point, police have not made any arrests. And today, Uber drivers we spoke to were on alert. James Leggins has been an Uber driver for more than a year.
I've been having a good time and meeting different people from all different walks of life.
Monday, he and other drivers were discussing the people a fellow driver encountered.
I just kind of heard from another Uber driver, and he just gave us heads up.
NOPD says after an Uber driver dropped someone off in Mid-City, 2 unwanted passengers jumped into his car. The suspected carjackers pointed a gun at the 44-year-old and forced him to drive.
But I never have a problem with anything like that, no close encounter like that.
That driver told police they made him drive somewhere on Bienville Street and told him to get out. Police say the Uber driver did get out, but with a gun in his hand. Police say he shot at the 2 men, hitting one of them. Then the suspects got out and ran.
I wouldn't say like any Uber driver should be, riding around with a gun on them, but, it's 2017, everybody trying to protect themselves. But I would never have a gun in my car or anything like that.
In fact, according to Uber's website, both riders and drivers are prohibited from carrying firearms in vehicles while using the mobile app. As for whether frequent riders think drivers should be armed,
I think that's everybody's personal decision if they're going to have a gun, assuming it's legal and all of that. I certainly could understand the logic behind it.
Leggins says the whole scenario will have him watching his back more in the future.
I better be more cautious and careful of who you pick up and things of that nature, and just keep my eyes, my ears open.
And an Uber spokesperson tells us they have not yet confirmed whether this incident involved one of their drivers, but they do have an incident response team for those Uber drivers to report any problems or give feedback. Reporting live in Mid-City, I'm Casey Ferran, WDSU News.
Casey, thanks. The woman accused of driving drunk and causing a fatal accident on the causeway was due in court this morning in connection with another DWI arrest. But Olivia Matt wasn't there, and court officials say that might have been because of confusion regarding her address. But if they can prove she was served and didn't show up, her bond will be revoked. When the accident happened on March 23rd, Matt was already out on bond for her second DWI arrest last year. The St. Tammany Parish DA's office says this arrest would be a violation of her previous bond. That's why the DAs in St. Tammany and Jefferson parishes want her bond increased or revoked. Her case was rescheduled for April 13th.
2 massage therapists are accused of giving inappropriate massages inside a massage parlor in St. Tammany. Kuiling Wang and Zhao Hao Mao were arrested and booked into the St. Tammany Parish Jail on March 14th. The sheriff's office began investigating the Chinese health spa in Covington after receiving several complaints of illegal activities. The 2 women are from China, but they have been living illegally in the United States.
Next at 6, a proposed increase to Louisiana's gas tax. The reason behind that push for higher prices at the pump. Plus,
the floors are filthy. There are roaches everywhere.
Deplorable conditions discovered at a healthcare facility. Why this isn't the first time these types of complaints have been lodged.